Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Today, I am joined by a very special guest. I'm joined by a Instagram artist and Chinese teacher, MC. Hi, MC. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hi, everyone. It's MC here.
Thank you so much for coming and
Yeah,
for
really
agreeing to
nice.
talk to me. So before we kind of get into some of the questions that I have, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, MC?
Yeah, of course. So my name is MC. I'm the founder and a creator of 一起汉字. So I started my Chinese character drawings back in 2018. And since then, I've been sharing it on Instagram at hand characters. That's where most people can find me, like post frequently. I was born and raised in China until I finished my college in Beijing. I was a graphic designer. And I came to the US in 2015 in New York. So I started my master at Parsons School of Design, and I finished my study there. Since then, I've been a product designer as well.
Okay.
So with all that said, I think my designer experience really helped me to start this this project.
And so, yeah, what started, I mean, obviously your background in design and doing this and being a product designer, what inspired you to start making this Chinese art and actually doing this kind of art with Chinese characters?
When I think about it, I mentioned I finished my college in Beijing in graphic design. And by that time, my professors, like a lot of them told us to, how to say, like to invest the time to Chinese traditional cultures and to bring the value part back to the modern world and even to the world. I think since then, I'm just so very interested in traditional Chinese culture as part of the big culture, Chinese characters. There's a big history and cultures behind it of how like these characters were created. The more I dig into, the more I become interested in. So I think that's my like very early intention, like my interest of my in heart.
Cool.
Then I think like more specifically how I started, I think it's back to like after graduation, I worked here in US in a big corporation. You know, the life in big corporation, it's quite like easy, boring. So I wanted to do something for myself according to my interest. So actually, I found out in Instagram, like on Instagram, there are so many lettering creative arts in English, but I didn't find many creative Chinese characters versus there's a lot of like traditional calligraphy, either Maobi or Gangbi. So I think.
Did you, sorry to cut you off here, but when you were younger or even in college, did you do kind of more traditional characters and calligraphy, or is this something that you found that you wanted to express yourself, you know, using your kind of medium and tie characters into that? So were you into calligraphy beforehand or not so much?
Yes, I practiced the traditional calligraphy since I was a kid, like when I was a kid. And I do Chinese traditional drawings as well, like 国画. So I've been practicing for years. So I have this skills, so I wanted to like use that skill, like traditional form to deliver something creative.
Oh, I certainly think that you have absolutely succeeded in that goal. Question about your process, MC. How long would you say in general per piece it takes you? And as a follow-up to that, what mediums are you currently working with?
Right now, I just use like traditional watercolor and with calligraphy. So my arts, it's combined calligraphy with watercolor.
And you're using Maobi,
yes,
like a traditional
Maobi,
style.
Maobi.
Okay.
Yes, and the 宣纸 as well. So it's all like traditional form, but it's.
And I see a little piece of paper.
Oh yeah. That's 秋分.
So how roughly how long does it take you to do a piece?
The most timely part is the ideation. Like I have to think about an idea to deliver my idea or the story behind the character. So I need to do a lot of research on that character, how they created, because I don't know all of them as well.
Sure.
I do research, I do ideation. Then the drawing part is not very hard because I have this skills, so I can do more easily. And after that, I do some retouch.
Do you have a favorite Chinese character that you like? You could just write it over and over and over again.
I don't think so.
No?
No. But
that's probably a good thing. I mean, you have to do so many different pieces that you probably don't want to have one that's only your favorite.
Yes, absolutely. But I think in my current creations, I love my Chinese zodiac series.
Okay. Yeah.
So 12 of them, I think I love the animals.
Well, it's so, from an artistic perspective, when we're dealing with the zodiac and dealing with things, I think it's really awesome when we get to pictographs, right? Because, most characters are not pictographs, but the zodiac, they all were originally, if we look at the Jaguwood, all of them were pictures of animals. And so it really allows this creative expression and this talent to come out, and you can really kind of have a lot of fun with that, right? The entire character is a picture. And so now you just get to do it in your style, which is very cool.
Yes.
What are some of the kind of joys and struggles of teaching Chinese on a platform like Instagram? I mean, you post often, you make this amazing content, you do a lot of video recording, you do a lot of stories and engagement in that way. So can you talk a little bit about kind of that process?
The drawing itself brings me a lot of peace. When after work or on weekends, I do drawings to calm myself down. So when I share something that brings me happiness to social media, I think it's a joy for me. And also the interactions with my followers and the affirmation they gave me, like how much they appreciate or they like my art. I think all these are so much joy. It gives me a lot of motivations to keep doing what I do. However, there are some struggles because, by the end of the day, you can't just live in your happiness. There's a reality because it's on Instagram. You have all this competitions, I would say, or not really competition, but you will put yourself in a place to take care of followers, engagement rate, how people react, even though I don't want that to affect me, but more or less it will. So that part's really hard sometimes. As well
when you're
as,
doing this, as you said, this is after work for you, right? So you're already coming home from a long day of work, and now all of a sudden you have to do this, and you don't want to post and ghost as it is, right? So you have to be engaged. And I mean, I really think you are, and it seems like you're kind of posting very regular, which is commendable, but it does really have to be stressful. Yes, but it sounds to me like the joy is definitely worth some of it.
Yes, definitely.
要吃苦一下，对吗? You got to do it a little bit, but then it's just seeing those reactions and everything has to be just so rewarding.
Yes. And another struggle for me, I think I've never been a Chinese tutor or I wasn't a Chinese teacher until I started to teach on Instagram. I wanted to give more interaction, more content to my followers because a lot of them are studying Chinese, are Chinese learners. So I want to provide more valuable output. So I started to do videos or more teaching style. So first I have to learn their needs, the audience requirements. So that's also a learning process for me.
And when did you decide to start doing that, as more like a conscious thing that you're doing, was this you made the decision, you recognized, was it that you realized that a lot of people that were following you were actually studying Chinese and interested in Chinese? And so you said, well, I'm just going to expand what I'm doing?
Yes, I would say so, because a lot of them are Chinese learners and they are they want more content on Chinese learning content. So I think by using my art, I really think there's a value here,
Mm-hmm.
can help them to improve or quick learn Chinese characters. So I started just talk about, I think I started with 10-day challenges on learning characters. So that really takes me to next level.
Sure. Cool. Awesome. Well, and I think it's so good. Like challenges are so much fun. And obviously it's something that students can work toward, but it also helps build this positive and healthy habit. And actually, as we're kind of talking about habits and challenges and things, that I am going to skip ahead to one of our kind of bonus questions, but I am wondering so in this one, by the way, I got this I did an interview with Mandarin Monkey and they had me on, and one of their questions that they did was, in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life or study? And I really think that this question is just so good, like creative process. Whether we're students, we're creating art, whatever it is, right? This is a skill set and we have to use it every single day. So I'm just curious, if you're thinking about this, what kind of beliefs, behaviors, habits have you done that have really kind of helped you do this and ship and create often and regularly?
I remember I shared a Chinese sentence with my audience on YouTube is 只要你认真做事，总有一天会有人看到. I think it's just you have to have this patience to keep doing what you're doing, and step by step there will be people discovered, or if you really do with your heart, people will see.
Do you have any tips or tricks, things that you've encountered or things that you've done on your Instagram that you realize have been really helpful for students? Is there anything that you'd like to share with people that are studying Chinese that you think will be really important when learning Chinese characters?
I think in general, consistency, like as we mentioned, day by day, step by step, that's most important for language learners. And as well as environment, find yourself a language environment, either like language partner or online friends. Just put yourself there and to take every opportunity to practice.
Yeah.
And
anything for characters specifically?
For characters specifically, I would say I think I've mentioned so many times, like start with radicals because that's how characters are formed. That's very important. Yes. And also writing the writing process, it's also a way to enhance your memory because you use your hand, you use your thinking, you use different sense to practice this character. So that's why I think Skater, you gave like people the opportunity to write like in strokes. I think that's really helpful for Chinese characters.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we talk so much about this on our channel and in a lot of our content that we do, but it is so important when we start looking at individual characters, and obviously you do this in your art as well, is we start deconstructing these characters into their individual components. And you don't want to go too far, right? Because then they just become strokes, and that's not how our characters are. Yes. But having this idea of, learning these radicals, or, maybe they're not always a radical, radicals traditionally are what we would use in, say, a dictionary to look up a character. Yes. But if we expand that into this idea of components, then by understanding these components, we understand how characters are structured. And then we can start seeing those structures appearing in other characters. And your website, which we're going to talk about in 1 second here, you do a great job of also identifying. You say, hey, look, these are the character components that are in here, and here's some other characters that use these same components. And that really is genuinely what it's about. So we start really small, as you said. We do these daily things, we build these habits, and we start connecting those dots very slowly. And over time, learning that next character, right? The first 10 characters might be really hard. The first 100 characters might be really hard. But once you get to 200, 300, 400 characters, that knowledge just builds upon itself, and it becomes very easy to kind of learn the next thing because it's just putting these pieces of the puzzle together in new ways. And it's so rewarding. And it is really the way, right? Understanding these characters, breaking them down is so important, because I think that for native speakers, when you're young, maybe you chao xie every day, right? You write small boxes
yes.
and over, but it takes that's really time consuming, and it works with the environment that you're in. But as non-native speakers, maybe we don't have 18 years to learn Chinese, right? So tell me about your project. What's it called? What's the goal? And obviously, huge congratulations on the launch, by the way. The site looks brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, that took me a few months to launch this website, www.一起汉字.com. So from there, you can go into the learning center where with all my creative drawings and as well as other elements, for example, HSK, vocabularies, sentences, examples, and the most important, the component relationship. So that's a way for learners to learn by groups. And I also linked my YouTube video of me explaining this character. So I think all together can really help people to learn the meaning behind it, the history, and how to use it.
So you're doing kind of the HSK style in terms of organization. Do you have drawings for everything right now, or are you still working on some? Because there is a lot of vocabulary.
Oh, yes. I don't have all of them. Right now, I have 1,000 characters only.
Wow. That's still a lot.
Yeah, it took me
As someone
years.
who finished behind me here, it's like, this is like a sampling piece, but I did a 150-day graffiti challenge for characters. And that was, it was 150 days. And I'm just scratching the surface of what's possible. So 1,000 already is absolutely incredible. So how do you feel about the new HSK changes that are happening? Are you aware that? It's going to be, now it's 9 levels and 11,000. So MC, I think you have a lot of work on your plate in the future.
Definitely.
加油, 加油.
Yeah, probably after that, I have to rearrange everything. It's gonna be a lot of work.
Whatever. We gotta do what we gotta do, right? Well, thank you very much for being on. I hope you had fun. Thank you very much for taking the time. Obviously, your art is just brilliant, and keep creating. We can't wait for the next 1,000. I know that might sound daunting and everything, but it's really, it's remarkable stuff. So thank you very much for coming on. And that's going to conclude our interview for today. If you want more stuff like this on Skritter, be sure to, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to do some more interviews. And actually, I found out that MC and I are not so far away in terms of where we live. So maybe someday in the future, we could do a little, it would be super fun to get together and do some kind of a Chinese lesson or whatever.
Definitely.
So we'll see. Maybe we can get that on the books. Until then, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and happy studying.
Thank you so much for having
MC.
me.
Yeah. All right.
谢谢.
Peace out, everybody.
再见，拜拜。